My name is Monette, and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. For those of you that are new here, I'm a professional intuitive empath, and we talk about all manner of things that help us to evolve. And tonight, my angels called me to measure for you, Divine Feminines, how much healing you've done. And they brought the lesson through me so that I could teach it to you. We've healed. Many of us here have healed from distractions, from relationships that weren't real, from relationships that made us feel the worst of ourselves, from people that depleted us, that didn't ever care about us, from people that never loved us and never shared goodness with us. Not really, but we're siphoning energy. That kind of betrayal is hard to come back from. It's a tall, big, looming mountain in the distance, and it reminds me of this song. When I first was introduced to Yeba, it was 3 years ago, really, off of a fresh heartbreak. A heartbreak that I had predicted, and a heartbreak that took more out of me than I ever imagined anything could. Well, I'd been in love before, and I've been treated good, and I've been treated badly. But this was a situation that stripped me of my humanity. It tested me in a way that I can't imagine I could ever be tested again, probably because I really learned the lesson, but also in a way that I hadn't been tested before, and I thought I had been tested. But God said, wait, there's some more. Tonight, for some reason, my angel specifically popped this up in my playlist. You guys know that when I work, I channel with music. And I got this in my head, and they said, go listen to it again. And what's interesting is while I left comments there, you can see my comment towards the top about how I was grateful for her offering and how she bled and cut herself and bled out for us in this offering. It was beautiful. It's a beautiful piece of art. Right now at 18 million to 20 million views, it went viral as something as powerful as this will do. It's a song that she writes about heartbreak. People confuse it for a song she wrote called Evergreen that's for her mother who committed suicide, but this song, oh my God, this song, my mind. If you've ever had a heartbreak, if you've ever been cheated on, if you've ever had someone triangulate you in a third party, this is a song that is where you will bend a knee because you can't escape it without tears, except this time I did. I haven't listened to it for years because it wasn't relevant to me anymore in my journey. The first few months of the heartbreak were horrible, and I mourned that person completely. But I never thought I would listen to the song again because it was such a trigger to me. I listened to it over and over and over endlessly because I couldn't believe what she did to me. And the way that Yeba goes through her words, she laid it out so brilliantly. She says, I heard you coming at 2:45. You put your key down and lay down next to me. But then I heard you whisper her name in your sleep, your dirty secret you can no longer keep. She's talking about her man or her woman or whoever kind of slipping and spilling the beans that there's somebody else. And this is the kind of thing that if you have been living in any kind of bastardized lie will rip you limb from limb. It threatens your mental security is what I want to say, because you have a fragmented life and you're living with someone who engages willingly, happily in duplicity. I was on a business trip recently and I was sitting in first class with a businessman who is a corporate of Bank America, but we engaged in some really fun conversation. This is just a few weeks ago. And we chatted and chatted. And you guys know the work I do. So I picked up some things about his life. I threw it out. He was like, oh my gosh, how do you know? And we talked. But the poignant part of the conversation, the reason I was called to sit there, the reason that he was called to sit there that day, was not about chatting it up in a friendly way, but about hearing something that he had to say. He was flying from somewhere to somewhere to go visit with his kids. And he said that he had a good woman who loved him, but he was a tornado in her life. He said he never treated her right, and all she wanted was calmness and sanity. And instead, he ran off with his drinking buddy, who took him down the devil's path, which he wanted to go down as well because she was great fun and a good laugh. And it was so much fun to be enthralled in their addictions together. And he said, until one day my drinking buddy came to me and said I needed to get sober because I had a problem. The conversation segued into that because I had offered to buy him a drink. We were getting along so brilliantly, and I always pay gratitude when there is kindness is extended to me. And he said, well, I won't have what you're having, but I will have a Coke Zero if they've got it. And he says, and no, I'll pay. And we laughed about that. But here's what happened. He got that. He said, the reason I'm having Coke Zero is because I've been 12 years sober. And he mildly, very humbly kind of mentioned in an off kilter way that he was an AA coach, that he worked the program and that he coaches and talks to other people, and what a blessing it's been to his life. But it's because he ran off with his afternoon delight, destroyed his family, destroyed his kids, went to the bottom of the barrel, and even with that person that he loved to dance with the devil with, she could no longer take it. Our addictions and the things that take us away from our family are always destructive. And I asked him this question so I could give it to you, Divine Feminine. I said, what did you do when it came time to be honest with your wife about the demon that was taking over you, whether it was alcohol or the other woman? And he said, he's a Christian man, Southern man. And he said, oh, I lied. I lied to her face. I denied and denied. And I will tell you, Divine Feminine, it was cathartic to hear him say the truth. It was healing that I received from the masculine energy in my life, though she could never bring herself to be honest with me in that way. I knew everything she would ever have to say. So it was not a conversation we had to have. But my angels loved me so much. They said in the aftermath, when you've really healed it, we'll tell you exactly what it was and why it had to be that way. And in many ways, they gave me apologies from that person. Never from herself, actually, from her higher self, from emails that she sent me years before. All kinds of wildness and very paranormal spiritual activity happened around my healing because I was never allowed to be around her again. But with this man sitting next to me, I heard the words, and I heard the regret, and I heard the remorse. It didn't make me feel for my ex, not at all. It made me still want to stay my course, but it was nice to understand that their higher self understood how destruction can tear apart a happy neighborhood. He admitted what so many of us will never hear our spouses say about how they gaslight and denial and push us away, and we question ourselves, are we crazy? I heard you come in at 2:45. You put the keys down and lay next to me. But then you say her name in your sleep. Your dirty secret you can no longer keep. In the next stanza she says, how could you do this to me when I work so hard to keep you satisfied? When she says satisfied, she unhinges her mouth like a snake and lets every primal, guttural thing take over her soul and body. I work so hard to keep you satisfied. It's raspy, it's bluesy, it's jazzy, it's the pits of lowness when someone's betrayed you. It's depravity. It's so powerful. I listened to the song the whole way through several times tonight before I made this video for you, and I didn't cry. It reminded me of things, though, and maybe this will be something that you can dry your eye with so that you know that even though it may seem like you had a long way to go, you got somewhere. And you got there in the depths of your fear, in the midst of destruction, and in the midst of gaslighting and lies, with no one ever saying, oh, I get it. You were my person, you were my spouse, you were my bestie, you were my wife, you were my whatever we were to the people that destroyed us, and did it with laughter and a glint of Machiavellian mischief in their eyes. I worked so hard to keep you satisfied. See, I don't have resentment. When I looked at her tonight, I couldn't cry. I couldn't even connect to the emotion I had years ago. Isn't it amazing how a heart will grow? It will stretch and fit around new energies to love, and it will bring in new tender kisses and hugs, and it will teach you to love yourself again. A heartbreak can be one of the very best things. As she sang, I thought about cold mountain tops nested away in cabins that overlooked lakes and overlooked trees, where bears took out the garbage and Easter egg hunts got us to disagree, but only happily, where the smoke flowed abundantly and the fire pit was lit and country songs were sang and food was made and connection was had, but I didn't feel bad about it. I thought of memories of someone who's passed, and I felt grateful for the time that I had and the lessons that I learned, but I didn't yearn for them. Whoever yearns to be burned, right? I don't want to be burned again, but I know what it's like to lose a friend, a lover, a frenemy, a foe, a bestie, an exie, somebody that you used to know. In her song, Yeba talks about losing her mind, which is something we all can relate to when the loving is over and it is that time to disembark. It's one of the hardest things you'll ever do, platonic or otherwise. It will change your life, especially if you've invested a great deal of time with that person and you feel like you're completely taken for granted and discarded. A lot of us that deal with narcissistic empath dynamics know that feeling all too well. But tonight, I have a story to tell, and it's not just a story, it's a truth. You move on, whether they do or do not get over you. You do. Spoiler alert, Divine Feminines, we win. And you say, what did I win? And the Bible says, what does it profit the man to gain the whole world, but to lose his soul? If we hadn't relinquished control, we would have lost our soul. When I listen to Ebba croon and cry and yell and howl, I mean the way she almost yodels her pain, the way it was weeping and gnashing of teeth, the way that she can sang and sang. I mean, not just sing, she sangs. And I didn't feel a thing. I watched her and I marveled at her technique and I sang in harmony some of the riffs when she climbed and I was impressed just like I was the first time. But I wasn't emotional. That's the magic of healing. And let me hit the reversal on you, Divine Feminine. Now that's how your masculine's feeling. They feel like the person they chose took you away from them, and it's true. But it was a reversal that needed to happen in the end because you were never going to choose you, and they were never going to choose you. You made no mistakes. The right steps you did take. She says, my mind, my mind. I think about you all the time. I know what that feels like to be in the repetitive, vicious cycle of playing over all the minutia. And my God, I also know what it feels like to let it go. That mountaintop was cold and it was isolated. It was a relationship I never want to be in again. I don't want to have to pretend. I wear my heart on my sleeve. The love that is inside me exudes out of me. It becomes me. I am love. I am nurturing. If you've been listening to the series, I am Hawaii. I am receptivity. I am feminine. And I'm masculine too. I am light and I am shadow, just like you. But when we lose ourselves in a love, we forget all of the things that are magnificent and true. And we devolve into a husk of codependency if we are not grounded and have not learned the lessons of that deep, toxic dependency. But I learned it. and so have you. She says, no way, no way. She can't take you away from me, in one of her most powerful lines. And you wonder, because she repeats it a few times, where is this going? And then when she lands the punch, it is like the all knowing. Every woman who's ever felt that loss knows exactly what that is. She says, no way, no way. She can't take you away from me. She points her finger. She says it again. She asks the audience, does anybody know what I'm talking about? She's singing like she's in a Baptist or a Pentecostal church, is so involved with the call and response from an audience who is stunned in silence because her brilliance is profound. An angel, an earth angel, has manifested and touched down, and she is in front of them, and she is bearing her soul like only an earth angel can do. She created a work of art for us. And for those people too. They were shocked. The comments were that no one's interacting. Why is no one on their feet? Why is no one clapping? Because sometimes something is so great, there are no words to say. Clearly, by the 18 to 20 million views, that is the magic that Yeba made that day. Her name is Abby spelled backwards. That's why I almost called her Abby. Her name is Abby spelled backwards. That is the magic that Yeba made that day. She says, no way, no way. She can't take you away from me. Staccato words have come in place of the legato phraseology that was commonplace in the first half of the song, lilting and violent vibrato as she sings. And then she gets specific and she points out a thing and she says, no way, no way. She can't take you away from me. She says, I sure won't stay, but I'll be damned if I ever leave. Ooh, girl. When I heard that the first time, I knew exactly what she meant. I had never had the complexities of those emotions or feelings. I've had several relationships. I've had friendships and situationships. I've had girlfriends and I've had boyfriends, but I never, until that day, understood why a human could feel that way until I was betrayed the way that I was. And everything in my body began to buzz when she said that. I was alive. I knew that I was going to be fine. I knew that I was going to climb out of the stupor. I knew that I was going to be better than I went in, even if it almost killed me. No way, no way, she can't take you away from me. I sure won't stay, but I'll be damned if I ever leave. That's a feeling you'll feel in the beginning, Divine Feminine, I promise you. You will feel like I'm going to stay here with my ghost and my energy, and I'm going to haunt you. You will not forget about me. And that's Beyonce says, written by Neo, you must not know about me. Sometimes we don't know about ourselves either, and we must treat ourselves gently as we recover. There were so many parts of myself that I discovered as I disembarked from the foolery. And I realized it wasn't just her that did not know about me. I did not know about me. I did not know about what kind of shadow I could be. I did not know about the extent of love that I could give. I did not know how I could care for a kid that I didn't birth. I didn't know a lot of things about me. I didn't know my worth. When I listened tonight and as she wrapped the song up, playing carefully back and forth with more runs that headed north, high notes, I knew that I was healed, and I knew that some of you were healed too. I don't mourn in that song. I don't even know if it's something I could ever do. I'd have to go back and watch videos where I talked about it to connect authentically with the energy that was poured out of me at that time frame, but I don't remember. It is no longer in my body. The body always remembers. The body always knows. Our trauma is stored in pockets and in fat vacuoles. It is there. But when you start to pare down in places in your life and you start to release the toxic baggage that never made you feel right, the person, the friend, the relationship, the man, the wife, the husband, the situationship, the career, the career track, the job that's holding you back, there will be a morning. But specifically, this is for my divine feminine to know what it is to have someone put you into a party of three, to lie into your face happily, like the businessman said on the plane with me, over and over again, completely denied it until that person that I said was just my friend was my 6 year drinking buddy, my lover, and my confidant, and my wife, who I adored, watched it as it destroyed her. Oh, yeah, they've made up and they've moved on, as life will have you do. But he said, I can't even imagine the hell I put her through. And I pass that along to you, Divine Feminine. Someone is waking up now and they cannot imagine the hell they put you through. They don't have the testicular fortitude to have withstood the blows that they gave you physically, emotionally, energetically, how it cost you to love somebody so completely. My mind, my mind, think about you all the time. Someone's thinking about you now all the time. My mind doesn't drift back to my masculine unless it's a point of place where I am teaching, or whatever you want to call the person in my life, my distorted soulmate, my karmic death ray, whatever. My mind doesn't drift back. I don't have nostalgia. I don't miss her. I don't want to be around her. She showed up in a woman's body, but she was filled with the most toxic of masculinity. I do not care to re engage. You see, Tupac has a saying. He says, "Oh no, I don't hate you. I don't hate you." I'm loosely paraphrasing. He says, "If you're my enemy, I still want to see you eat, just not at my table." We're not evil, divine feminine, but you are set apart. And if someone has completely broken your heart, no, they don't deserve access to you. Not to absolve themselves of their guilt, to apologize to you. Let them live with that. Let them corrode inside of them, just like their lies corroded inside of you. It's not about revenge, it's about protection and what that healthy boundary do. Amen? What does your healthy boundary do? When you lost your mind, and if you know that song and you press rewind as many times as I did over a month period, then you know the pain when you've worked so hard to keep someone satisfied. They asked me to revisit my mind. They said, "You will not feel what you did. It won't hurt." I questioned them at first, but I don't even know why. When my angels say jump, now I say how high. And I listened, and I'm glad I did. What they wanted to show me, and so I pass it along to you kids, is that you have healed way more than you've given yourself credit, and they never really got away with it. And they didn't help you. You did it with your angels and ancestors. But no person on earth could hold that kind of heartbreak because it's a heavy weight. It is too much to take. In my mind, I don't think about her all the time, but I know where her mind is. And if it's not her mind, then I know that it's your divine or distorted masculine mind. They think about you all the time. If you would have told me that every song I heard would be applicable to her, but to me, I would have told you were crazy. I've never felt so undervalued by a human in my life. But now I see. I didn't need to be there to save her from her strife, from her incoming karma, from her bad decisions, or from her fuckery. I needed to step out of the matrix, and I needed to save me. And Yeba tapped me into the deepest pain in me, and before the song was over, she helped me to set myself free. She taught me to ascend. She said that there will be many men or women that don't wish death upon you, that care about the things that you do, that wish to edify you, that want to put on the armor of God for your spirit of heaviness, that want you to lift your voice up to the Creator, to the Maker of the skies, to the Painter of the skies, to the Alpha and the Omega, to the one who makes the sun rise. There is something else to focus on. And it's not just your pain That was something for a while to teach you about life's game, but it was not meant to linger and drive you insane. In my mind, Divine Feminine, you know who I think about all the time? I think about you guys. I think about ways to communicate with you. I think about ways to help you understand your brilliant worth. I think about ways to edify and raise you up. And all of that would have never happened had that person that I valued so much stolen my golden cup, took its worth completely, drained it of everything inside, and wouldn't even return it to me, looked in my face, and directly lied. In my mind, I think about that if I ever want to rewind. And it seems like it's been the perfect antidote to never go back in time. We are not Doc Martin. We are not Michael J. Fox. Back to the Future does not become us because when we rewind, death becomes us. We will be penalized and fined spiritually to retract our steps when your angels and ancestors thought so highly of you to step in and help you set yourself free. Yeba created a masterpiece. I meant what I said if you read my comment. I meant what I say when I talk about her here. Listening to that, those sounds dripped into my ear, and they were warm tea, soothing me, my soul, my weary energy. My tea's gone cold, I wonder why I got out of bed at all. So many days I felt like that after the fall. And then God said, take a break. I promise I will heal you. And tonight, He has kept His promise. The prophecy is true. I can reflect and I know that all that I went through, my sweetest of divine feminines, was primarily for you. I love you so much. Go listen to that song. Take a little time and let whatever albatross is free from your mind and start moving on to thinking about your prosperity, your abundance, and your growth all of the time. Come back and join me next time, and we will continue to evolve together.